Hi YouTube, it's Kathy. As I'm filming this, it's just after the last day of VidCon, and I wanted to introduce this series. I did it once before when I went to PodCon, and I was very excited to do it again. It's, as you can tell from the title, VidCon Recommends Books. In this project, I go up to people I know, people I don't know, and ask them if they like books and whether or not they'd like to recommend one to you. Now, of course, because this is in a convention setting, obviously there are other people around and there are loud noises. Fortunately, I caption all of my videos, so you might want to turn on the captions right now if you haven't already, because it's going to be a little hard to hear people. However, with the captions and the fact that I'm going to put the book cover up next to the person, you should be able to figure out what the recommendations are. If you participated in this video, thank you so much for giving me a recommendation. It was an absolute delight to have everyone so excited to talk books with me. Additionally, I would love to credit anyone who has channels down in the description down below, so if I haven't already done that, please leave me a comment so I can update the description. And without any more ado, this is VidCon Recommends Books.
I'm Kat. I go by Kat of Diamonds on the internet, and I cannot stop recommending the Illuminae Files, book 1 of a series. And whether you want to read the book, the physical form, it is beautiful. It is, it's not a read this paragraph, read this paragraph. It is a piece of art, I want to say. But then if you're an audiobook person, go to your local library or cash in your Audible coin or however those things work on the internet and download the audiobook, because it is an absolute production. There's sound effects, there's a multi-voice cast. It is like listening to a movie, except for the content is so wonderful you forget you're not seeing anything out loud. Wow. We're at VidCon. I'm tired, but you know what I mean.
Hi, I'm Rosianna, and I recommend Without You, There Is No Us by Christy Kerr, because it's a wonderful piece of investigative journalism about life in North Korea.
Hello, my name is Willow, and I would like to recommend The Invasion of Heaven by Michael B. Kep. This was a Goodreads first read giveaway that I actually entered and won a copy of because the book seemed interesting to me. And it is about a psychologist who winds up involved in this very in-depth mystery involving a painter who makes works of art that seem to cause very odd reactions in people who see them. It is a very multifaceted book, and it was a fascinating read, and it was one I could not put down.
Hi, my name is Adele. My channel is The Ling Space, which is a channel about linguistics. The book I'm recommending is An Unkindness of Ghosts by Rivers Solomon. It's an amazing sort of space opera, future generational starship thing with really intense but amazing themes and just those beautiful writing and amazing characters. I loved it. It's my favorite book that I've read this year.
Hi, my name is Peter, and the book I recommend is Weapons of Math Destruction by Cathy O'Neill. It's a great book that talks about how big data can be used to more nefarious ends, sometimes intentionally, but oftentimes unintentionally.
Hi, my name is Hannah, and my book recommendation is The Book Thief by Mark Zuzak. I really like the unique perspective of death as the narrator, and just because it's during World War II, which is one of my favorite historical time periods, but with all that combined, it's really interesting.
Hi, I'm Sarah Greene, and the book that I recommend today is called Hold Still by Sally Mann. She's an artist, a photographer, and she has written this memoir, and I don't usually like artist memoirs, believe it or not. I usually prefer to hear other people write about the artist, but she has led such an open and alternative life that has really created this wonderful circumstance for her to make things and be creative, and it was transformative, and I want to read it again already, even though it's only been a few months.
Hi, my name is Ashley, and I would like to recommend the book All Over Creation by Ruth Ozeki. It's messy, but it talks about really sensitive topics like relationships, family, and the environment, and being GMO friendly.
Hi, my name is Katy, and I recommend the book Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. I like it because it is super funny. I always find new things when I'm reading it, new references to pop culture or just life in general, and it makes me feel really happy inside, so it's a really good feel-good book without sort of putting down other people.
Hi, my name is Mike Greene, and I recommend Consciousness of the Brain, Deciphering How the Brain Codes Our Thoughts, because the brain is is an amazing place. 5 stars, 500 reviews on Audible.
Hello, my name is Christy Kerr and my channel is Christy Kerr. And the book I would like to recommend is actually Hannah Hart's book, Buffering Unshared Tales of a Life Fully Loaded, I'm pretty sure is the subtitle. And it was like really, really good. Like it took me a long time to actually read it because I was just like, oh, it's another YouTuber book, but it was really well written and like really interesting. So dope.
Hi, my name is Becky from Becky Stories on YouTube, and I recommend When the Moon Was Ours because it's a really cool, it's got all this magical realism, and it's also got a lot of fun queer representation, and it's just a really fascinating and transporting thing to read and to listen to.
Hi, my name is Chelsea. My channel is Practical Poppins, and my favorite book right now is called Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. It's kind of a dystopian fiction, but way more plausible than you think it's gonna be. And the thing that hooked me in is that it's set in modern day USA, but all of the electrical grid has gone down. And so basically everybody is back in, I guess, pre-computer times? What was that like? It's kind of scary, but also really cool. So go read Station 11.
My name's Julie, and I recommend The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. It's about mass incarceration and the drug war and the ongoing effects that that has on society today, and it's been really eye-opening for me, and I recommend it.
Hi, my name is Eva Houghton, and I recommend this book. It is so cool. It's called Juliet Naked by Nick Hornby. It is hilarious. The main character is actually my mom, and it's just the coolest book ever, so enjoy.
Hi, my name is Nicole, and if I could recommend one book to anybody, it would be The Warmth of Other Suns by Isabel Wilkerson.
Hi, I'm Amara in Seattle. I would like to recommend the book Every Day by David Levithan, who, spoilers, I really want to be my editor someday. Hi, David. I think it is a great book because it explores the YA genre, but in a way that is really unexpected by talking about the experiences of someone who hops between different bodies. Every morning, this kid wakes up in a different body, as a different gender, in different situations, and kind of has to roll with the punches, which makes him mature in a lot of ways, but also really immature in a lot of ways. And then, of course, he gets into a relationship, and they try to figure out how do you deal with that situation.
Hi, my name is Steve, and my book recommendation is Anna Tsing's The Mushroom at the End of the World. It's an anthropological book about matsutake mushrooms, but it's also kind of just about the entire world and what is changing in the 20th century because of what's happening to capitalism. And it just really changed my outlook on the way I look at man-made objects and the way that we interact with each other.
Hi, my name is Gabrielle, and I have a channel called Frumious Reads. The book I'm recommending is Overraging Tides by Jennifer Elysian because it's amazing, and it's about a female pirate on a crew of all female pirates and how they take over the seas, and it's fantastic.
Christian. Yeah, you can usually find me on Frumious Reads, and my book recommendation is going to be the Johann's Cabal series, starting with Johann's Cabal the Necromancer. This is the last book in the series, The Fall of the House of Cabal. It's about essentially a necromancer who has sold his soul, but found it irritating that his soul was sold, so now he goes back to the devil to get it back, and he uses a carnival to collect souls, so that way he can get his own back. And it just evolves from there. It's a great, fantastic series, a lot of wit, a lot of charm, just the character growth from the main character and all the other characters around is fantastic, so definitely go read that one if you can.
Hi, I'm Kristen Fukunaga, and I would like to recommend The House of Mirth by Edith Wharton. It is my favorite book in the whole world. It is a scathing social commentary around the turn of the century and turn of the last century, turn of the 20th century. It's along the lines of Jane Austen, if you're a fan of Jane Austen, except that Edith Wharton does not feel the need to give happy endings to any of her stories. So if you like anything a little more on the cynical and dark side, check out The House of Mirth. It is a absolutely fascinating story.
We're Paul and Catherine from Spin a Yarn Live, the Tea Time Book Club and Crafting Circle. We'd like to recommend Dragon's Egg by Robert Ford, Life on a Neutron Star, written by an actual astrophysicist.
Hi, my name is Victoria. I'm from @Screen14 Pictures, and I would like to recommend The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins.
Hi, I'm Marina, and the book I would like to recommend is Tuesdays with Maury. It is absolutely beautiful, heartbreaking. Go check it out.
Hi, I'm David Popovich, and the book I'm recommending is Brian Jacques' Red Wall.
My name is Michaela, and I would like to recommend The Hours by Michael Cunningham because it is super feminist and empowering and super relatable, and it's one of my favorite books, and I think everybody should read it.
And you guys should subscribe to this channel because you want Kathy in your life more, because I want Kathy in my life more, and I know you do.